The United Arab Emirates has stated that inbound flights to the UAE must not exceed 200 Nigerians for a 2-week period, as airlines may resume their flight operations soon. Also, the embassy said that its government has decided to remove the requirements for rapid antigen testing for travelers at airports in Nigeria as part of efforts to end the stalemate with regards to flights between both countries. This is just as the country has issued some requirements for the Nigerian government to meet before the move is consolidated. It's been about 2 months since Nigerian airline Airpeace welcomed the first of 10 brand new Embraer I-95E2 aircraft as part of its fleet expansion program. Unveiled during the Embraer Business Meeting with the aviation world in Port Louis, Mauritius, it makes the Nigerian airline the first to order the brand of jets on the continent. And joining us in the studio to discuss these headlines is the chief executive himself of Airpeace Airlines, Mr. Alan Onyema. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. Good morning.
Thank you.
I wanted to first ask you your take on this back and forth between the UAE and Nigeria and this cap they've put on 200 passengers for, I guess, 2 weeks coming in inbound. What you make of it?
Well, it's been some kind of the cat and mouse game between Nigeria and the UAE. It's all aero politics to me. And thankfully, the Nigerian government is playing it very, very, very well this time. It's all about reciprocity. If you give me one, I give you one. If you give me two, I give you two.
Right.
So it is weird for you to say that you need only 200 passengers out of Nigeria in 2 weeks. So first of all, what are the economics of that kind of decision? What is there for the airline? How are you going to do it? Are you going to fly once in 2 weeks? That's all it means, because, for example, in Airpeace, we have a 777 that could carry over 360 something passengers.
To UAE?
Yeah, to UAE. Yeah. We have 3 777s. They carry over 300 passengers. So it means that, okay, you limit yourself to 200 passengers at a time. Would that be enough to take care of your fueling alone? The fueling between Nigeria and UAE and back is over 40 million naira. So how much are you going to charge these passengers? So the consequences of this kind of decision is that the few people that will fly will have to pay through their noses. So it's not good. It's weird. It's weird.
I get you. Yesterday or the day before, Kenyan Airways announced a suspension of domestic flights because of the lockdown measures that the president of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, announced. In 2021, is the pandemic still, I guess, a big threat to your business?
Of course, it's a big threat, because when you look at it, this pandemic thing has devastated airlines worldwide. Airlines are the worst hit. And Nigeria or Airpeace, we are not immune from the devastating effect of the pandemic. For example, why is there paucity of aircraft in Nigeria, paucity of flights to in Nigeria? You notice that between Abuja and Lagos, Airpeace that used to do about 10 flights a day is now doing 2.
Wow.
We used to do about 120 flights a day before the advent of COVID, but now we are doing just about 30-something flights, because I have about 21 planes stranded out of the shores of this country, undergoing maintenance abroad. These maintenance facilities have not been able to redeliver these aircraft at some wind due, because they're on lockdown. The lockdown is affecting them. So the pace of work on these planes are nothing to write home about. So because of that, our aircraft are not coming back. And you know, the sick check regime in Nigeria is governed by calendar. For example, my brand new planes that just come into the country, one came in on January 28th. 18 months down the line, that aircraft will be due for C check, whether you use it or not.
Wow.
So now that aircraft has arrived in Nigeria on January 28, 2 months ago. 16 months time, I'm going to send it out of this country for C check. So assuming you send it there and this is still, persevering,
yes,
you're in trouble. So that is the reason most of the airlines are not flying all over the world. So it's affecting everybody. It is affecting everybody.
Not easy. Okay, so you mentioned the new planes, the Embraer I-95E2. Explain, in this period, your expansion plans. Are you making a bet that things will get better, or what's behind the to be doing this? Yeah.
The most important thing to note here is that we are blessed in this country.
Yes.
The pandemic is not as devastating in Nigeria as it's devastating out there.
True.
And the Nigerian domestic environment is very, very vibrant. So the airlines, yes, we are suffering, but not too much. So we have no fear about what we're going to do. And that is why I always advocate for unity in this country, because we have all it takes to be great.
Right.
So in Nigeria, we are not suffering like people in the UAE, like Emirates, that are doing mostly international flying. So they'll be more devastated than us. In Nigeria, we have everywhere to access. Yes, it is going to affect it, but not like it is affecting others. For the Embraer 195 E2 that we ordered, there are reasons behind that. In 2014, when I was creating Airpeace, I had my business plan, and I've never deviated from my business plan. I told myself I was going to start with 7 aircraft. I told myself that by 2017, I should start thinking of bringing in wide-body planes. That was why we brought in the 777s, to start challenging the foreign airlines on the international scenes, especially as it concerns the Nigerian market.
Yes.
We have allowed for so long the foreign airlines to traverse everywhere in this country, cutting away millions of dollars that could have been kept here. So we decided to go for 777s, and we brought them. When it was time to go for brand new planes, in 2018, we ordered 10 brand new 737 MAX. And because of the not so good incidents that happened with the MAX, we delayed delivery. But now the MAX is back on course, and Airpeace is not canceling its orders of MAX. But while that was going on, I didn't want to leave any stone unturned, because the MAX should be used for mid-haul travels, like going to Europe and others. But we needed something to replace our aging aircraft back in Nigeria. We needed to give Nigerian brand new planes to fly with on the domestic scene. So we looked for an aircraft that could fit into that bill, and that was the Embraer's latest invention, the E195. That aircraft is not more than 5 months old worldwide.
Right.
So our own is 0 hours, just manufactured this year. So we went for it, a very powerful plane, one of the safest, if not the safest, because this is an aircraft that if the power is shut down while in flight, there's something that's called a RAM that will deploy automatically and take over, and you land that plane safely. So when it comes to safety, it's almost 100% safe. So that's the kind of aircraft that will give Nigerians the confidence. Nigerians are very, very phobic about flying. So we went for the Embraer. Those planes are going to be deployed in the domestic scenes and the regional scenes. It's going to fly African countries. It's going to fly all the domestic scenes in Nigeria. We ordered 13 of them. They've started coming in one after the other. 2 have come in. Another one will come in maybe in less than 3 weeks' time. Someone every month like that. So we're going to give Nigerians what they deserve.
Fantastic. Well, you mentioned maintenance, C-checks, and so on. That's still primarily overseas, and there's still, I guess, foreign exchange liabilities for those costs. Yes, so that's something that's still apparent when it comes to maintenance of these planes.
Yes, that is one of the challenges we have in Nigeria, having to maintain our planes abroad, having to do the C-check maintenance and D-check maintenance abroad. For example, when I send any of my 737s abroad, I spend about $3 million.
Gosh.
For each aircraft before they come back. So that's a lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot. That's over $1 billion for some 2 months maintenance regime. So it's a problem. We don't have. Aero has set up MRO. They're trying. They're trying, but there's still room for improvement. Most of us have already started thinking about setting up MROs. That would be a separate business. I would like Aero to get their acts together very, very well. If not so, I'll go into that business.
Well, it's open, it's competition, so you're free to jump in there.
I like what Aero is doing.
Right.
But I want other airlines to support them. I give them planes at times. So I want other airlines to support them. They can get it right. But their staff will also know that this issue of union might dissuade their customers from coming to them. And they will lose their jobs, because you want an MRO that will work 7 days in a week, like they do abroad.
With no disruptions.
But the situation where some people tell you that they don't work on weekends, no airline will depend on that. So one thing is certain, the government has been providing the enabling environment for us to thrive in aviation. Thanks to the Honorable Minister of Aviation, Senator Hadi Sirika, he has really done a lot for aviation. I've got to my land now to develop a maintenance hangar. So he makes it possible for us to access things that we couldn't access before.
Right.
So the future is bright.
I'm glad you mentioned enabling environment and the minister. Last time you were on the show, I believe you talked about, I think it was with Boston Amofa, you were talking about the bailouts. I think it was to the tune of about 4 billion naira to the injured. Is there more down the line, or are the airlines now sufficient enough to where they can, operate, going forward, since the year is still challenging?
You see, the truth is that no amount of money given to you at this period will be enough. And nobody has bottomless, resources.
Yeah.
So the thing is, yes, a lot of people said the money was too small. Yes, it's too small, because one spare part, one of your engines could gulp the entire 4 billion. One engine is even more than 4 billion. The 4 billion was given to all of us to share. The government was only trying to help us, maybe, to see how that could help us, even if it means paying 1 or 2 salaries or that kind of thing. Yeah. It's not totally enough. We shouldn't be comparing ourselves to America, what America did and what the other countries did. They don't have the same capacity. That is the truth. The country is going through a phase, and everyone should be on deck to salvage it. I'm not one of those people who just go into criticism unnecessarily. I do constructive criticism. I criticize government when I felt the enabling environment was not there. Now the government is providing the enabling environment for us. We should applaud government. So sometimes you have to walk to government and say, is there any way we can be of help? You might never know how far that could go to you helping your country solve certain problems. So in aviation, I walked up to the government. I'm the vice chairman of the Airline Operators of Nigeria. And I use my position as the vice chairman to walk up to government to say, look, one of the challenges we are having is high cost of import duties, high cost of VAT, high cost of VAT on tickets, import duties on spare parts and aircraft. And government listened to me. The Minister of Aviation sat behind me. He pushed. He took me on his car. We went to so many places, went to the National Assembly, appeared in the public hearing, defended our position. The government supported our position in order to make it part of our laws. The president didn't want it to be executive order anymore, because he feels that in 2023, I will leave the seat. I don't want these airlines to depend on the whims and caprices of whoever takes over governance. Therefore, what these guys are talking is very genuine and germane. Let's make it part of our law. And the president signed it into law. Immediately the National Assembly passed that bill. President Buhari didn't waste a minute to sign it into law. And today we are enjoying import duties. That is why, as I'm bringing in my brand new planes, others will be encouraged to bring in brand new planes, knowing fully well that over 400 million or thereabout to be, cut off from there. So that is something to celebrate. I feel that going this way, more things will, come to happen. We are fighting insurance now, because the insurance companies.
We have to wrap up, but we have to bring you back. There's a lot to talk about in the aviation sector, so I'm glad you're optimistic about the future. The CEO of Airpeace, Mr. Onyema, thank you so much for joining us.